I feel that corporations can help entrepreneurs through structure and process. A lot of entrepreneurs are not so disciplined. Because they have so many ideas, it's sometimes very difficult to get them to channel those ideas into something extremely productive. I was in that case myself when I was a young entrepreneur, and I wish I would have benefited from the guidance of more corporate types in the beginning in order to be able to focus very, very clearly on what I did best. I was able to do that a little bit with some of the mentorship that I got with some investors at Goldman Sachs and with some people who helped me to think differently about building a bigger business. But I was going all over the place and I was experimenting so much that I wasn't really taking the time to learn the proper lessons from the experimentation. So I think corporations, the best corporations, can help aspiring entrepreneurs to become better entrepreneurs. MIT is a unique environment because it's an environment that is really focused on problem solving. And each person in that institution is really trying to think of solving a very specific problem. And because a lot of the young entrepreneurs that I've met and that I've mentored and I've done business with, even at various levels of our interactions, I feel like they're fearless. I feel like they're not afraid of failure. I feel like they're willing to think laterally and to experiment. That's the advantage of being in an environment of scientists, because the empirical experimentation is something that I take very dearly now as a new ethos in my own business dealings. And as a result, I learned a lot from young, aspiring entrepreneurs. Some of them had been PhD students, some of them might have been undergrads, some of them were doing their masters, but each person was focused on solving a very specific problem. And I think there's something to be said in this world that we live in about that approach, this problem solving. Entrepreneurs and aspiring budding entrepreneurs, which are the ones that I mentor and that I spend time with, they want to learn from people who've actually done it. They get tired of theory and they want to learn from people who believe in action learning and who believe in results and actually being in the proper environment where things get done. There's a lot of talk right now about skills being mismatched and students going to colleges that are giving them degrees and an education that is not so adapted to the new labor market. And I think that one way to remedy that is to add a lot more internship and real world experience into the educational process and into the curricula, because unfortunately the world has changed. And I think institutions, even the better academic institutions, have not adapted fast enough to this major societal change that we're experiencing at this moment. So I think education must be transformed, and I think corporations need to get closer to academic institutions in order to stay relevant. There's a big startup culture now where people want to start new companies because the labor market has changed so much that some people are willing to take a chance and start a company. And regardless of whether or not it succeeds, the challenge and the opportunity to be able to launch something new is extremely interesting for a lot of young entrepreneurs that I've met. And I think that a very, very focused approach on solving problems, where we rally around the insight of the entrepreneurs with the ambitious and the drive and the motivation of the entrepreneurs, can be extremely rewarding over time. Both large companies and small startups can be extremely symbiotic.